Blood pressure medication is a $20 billion industry, and yet sitting in your backyard, there's a vegetable that dropped blood pressure more than some prescription drugs manage. No pill, no prescription. Just dirt, water, and a little patience. Today I'm giving you 7 backyard vegetables that actually move your blood pressure, not eat more veggies. Advice, but the specific crops with the research behind them and exactly how to grow them. If backyard growing that actually does something for your health sounds worth your time, hit subscribe, because this channel is built on exactly that. Let's start with the one that surprises people the most. Beetroot. In controlled studies, beet juice lowered blood pressure noticeably within a few hours of drinking it, and the effect can last most of the day with regular use. Here's why. Beets are loaded with a compound called nitrate. Your body turns that nitrate into a gas called nitric oxide, and that gas relaxes your blood vessels from the inside, letting blood move through easier. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. That conversion doesn't happen in your stomach first. It happens with help from bacteria living on the back of your tongue. And if you rinse twice a day with a strong antiseptic mouthwash, you're wiping out those bacteria, which means you could be growing beets specifically for your heart, and cancelling the benefit before it ever kicks in. One harmless side note. Beets can turn your urine pink. Looks alarming the first time. Totally normal. Growing them is easy. Beets like loose, well-drained soil, and the trick is pulling them young. The longer you wait, the tougher and less potent they get. Now, vegetable number 2 works through that exact same nitrate trick, but it comes with a twist researchers didn't expect. A study using a solid daily amount of spinach lowered blood pressure and made arteries measurably less stiff. And here's the twist. The benefit didn't fade after a week of eating it daily. Your body doesn't seem to build up a tolerance to it, which is unusual for a dietary effect. Spinach is about as low effort as backyard growing gets. Cool weather, a little shade, and you're harvesting in about a month and a half. Perfect spring and fall crop. Number 3 works completely differently, and it's the one most people skip because of what's in the trash can. Chard is packed with magnesium and potassium, 2 minerals that work almost like a natural release valve on your blood vessels, keeping them relaxed instead of clamped tight. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. Most of the magnesium lives in the leaves, but most of the potassium lives in the stems. So if you're only eating the leafy part and tossing the stalks, you're throwing away half the benefit. Chard is tough as nails in the garden too. It shrugs off frost and summer heat without complaint, which makes it one of the most forgiving greens you can plant. Now here's a doctor's office kind of caution to keep in mind with chard, spinach and beet greens together. If you've ever dealt with kidney stones, going heavy on these can raise your risk. Cooking them down and staying hydrated helps offset that. Not a reason to avoid them, just something to know. Vegetable number 4 had the single strongest result of anything on this list, and it's also the hardest one to grow. Celery. In clinical evaluations, celery extract brought blood pressure down more than almost anything else we've covered, thanks to a compound in celery that relaxes the muscle lining of your arteries directly. But here's the fair warning. Celery needs months of steady, mild weather, and its roots are shallow and thirsty. Even a short dry spell turns the stalks bitter and stringy. If you've tried growing celery before and it turned out tough and bitter, inconsistent watering is almost always the reason. Many growers pile soil up around the stalks as they grow. It blocks light and keeps the celery pale and mild. Doctors weren't expecting the next one to matter as much as it does either. Broccoli. A recent trial had people eat cruciferous vegetables daily for 2 weeks, and blood pressure during the day dropped enough that researchers estimated a real drop in cardiovascular risk from that alone. The reason comes down to compounds in broccoli that calm inflammation inside the blood vessels themselves. Broccoli wants full sun and fertile soil, and it's a classic spring and fall grower, nothing unusual required. Number 6 actually gets healthier, the colder it gets outside, which sounds backwards, but stick with me. Kale. Kale shares those same broccoli-style benefits, plus a mineral edge. It's rich in a nutrient that helps keep your artery walls flexible instead of stiff. Here's the part that surprises most gardeners. Kale can survive temperatures well below freezing, and when frost hits it, the plant converts its starches into sugar as a kind of natural antifreeze. That means winter-harvested kale actually tastes sweeter than a summer batch. Don't pull your kale in early fall, let the cold hit it first. And the last one works in a way that's completely different from everything else on this list. Garlic. The active compound in garlic only forms when a clove is crushed or chewed, and it triggers your blood vessels to relax through a completely separate pathway from the other 6 crops. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes in the kitchen. Cooking garlic deactivates the enzyme that creates that active compound in the first place. So if you're tossing whole cloves straight into a hot pan, you're losing most of the benefit before it hits your plate. Crush it, let it sit a few minutes, then cook it if you want the flavor without losing the effect. Growing garlic is nearly effortless. Plant the cloves in fall, let winter do its thing, and harvest by midsummer. Now, an honest note before you go, rip up your whole yard. Not every study agrees. Some trials found leafy greens didn't move the needle much for every person tested. Your results depend on your starting blood pressure, your medications, and your overall diet. People who start out elevated tend to see the biggest changes. This isn't a one-salad miracle. It's a long-term habit that pays off with consistency. A couple more real cautions. If you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, keep your intake of vitamin K-rich greens steady week to week instead of swinging from none to a lot. Sudden changes can throw off your medication. And if you have kidney disease, check with your doctor before loading up on high-potassium foods like chard, since a struggling kidney can have trouble clearing the extra potassium. There's one more piece of this that has nothing to do with what's on your plate. The actual work of gardening, digging, weeding, hauling supplies, counts as real exercise. In one study following women over 70, just a handful of gardening sessions led to lower blood pressure, better cholesterol, and less inflammation in their blood work. Add in the stress relief of just being outside, and your garden is working on your blood pressure in 2 directions at once, whether you're eating the harvest yet or not. So here's where that leaves you. 7 crops, 3 completely different ways they work on your body, and a few mistakes. Mouthwash, tossed chard stems, cooked garlic, that quietly cancel out the benefit if you don't know about them. There's actually an 8th plant. Some researchers are watching closely for these same effects. The evidence just isn't strong enough yet to put it on this list. If it holds up, you'll hear about it here first. If this changed how you look at your garden, hit like, drop a comment telling me which of these 7 you're already growing, and subscribe if you want more of these science-backed growing guides.